I've been doing vision boards for at least the last 10 years, and they're constantly morphing. I've tried so many different ways. And I've learned that even if I have the most beautiful composition of my goals and dreams, unless I can apply the science of the mind and the body, it's like having a car with only a quarter tank of gas. Sure, you can get some places, but can you imagine if you had a full tank of gas, what momentum could really happen? And I've certainly learned that there are vision board killers. Yeah, those things that we do or don't do to utilize them in a way that they were originally created. So today, 4 to 5 different types of vision boards I'm going to give you so you can pick and choose which one works for you, along with the science that really brings these boards to life. Why make a vision board if we don't know how to turn the ignition and get the motor running? Are you ready to create? I think that's why you're here. Hello, hello, hello. You are listening to the No Brainers Empowering Possibilities Show. These are dialogues of encouragement with fresh perspectives, invitations to ahas, a little bit of science, a dash of behavioral psychology, some usable and easy skills to try now, and a whole lot of creative fun. So if leveling up is on your radar, my friend, you are at the right show. I'm Roseanne Marsh. I am the author of the teen and the parent empowerment curriculum called Level Up, and you are listening to episode number 55, Vision Boards and the Science Behind Making Them Work. Even though this isn't the beginning of the year, you can start a vision board literally anytime. And there's plenty of videos out there that show how to make a beautiful little board and light a candle and do that. Yes, do all of that. Whatever is aesthetically pleasing to you will be fun to have around, right? But more than that, I want to talk about the science of how you're putting it on there and the science of how you're using it. So today, what is the science? How do you use it? How does it work? So there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's a gazillion different ways that you can do a vision board. And today we're going to show you maybe 4 or 5 different cool ways that you can do your vision board. And then you can select what works for you. And maybe this is something that you roll out to your family, right? So if you had a chance to listen to episode number 53 on goals and resolutions, the real raw behind resolutions, you'll get some ideas of some of the questions to ask yourself about last year. Because to set those goals and those dreams for your vision board, sometimes we have to know where we've been to know where we're going to go. And sometimes we revisit those successes and say, wow, this really worked and I'm going to continue that. And that's still going to be on my board. Or it could be, this was my epic fail for the year. Or that area that just never got finished. And I'm going to finish it this year and I'm going to put a timeline on it. So really to do your vision board, it has a lot to do with you already coming up with some goals and dreams and fun little things that you want to put on there. I call a little bit of sparkle, because if everything is going to take that entire year, trust me, you're going to get kind of tired of that. We got to have some reasons to celebrate along the way. And we'll talk a little bit more about, well, what does that look like? And if you haven't listened to episode number 54, why you need a word of the year, that's a fun one, because once you find a word that kind of encapsulates what your year is going to be all about, that's another fun thing to be able to add to your vision board. But if you're new to vision boards, the theory behind a vision board is to be able to utilize through more than one sense your goals and your aspirations that you have and put them in one place so that you can see them often. So just like a commercial, we remember commercials when we've seen them time and time again, or when there's been some emotional attachment to it. So your goals and your dreams are going to be that emotional attachment to things that you desire and you want to see come to pass. Now, don't go all woo-woo on me, because there's a science behind this whole thing, right? And then we're going to talk about that in just a little while. So a vision board is visual. And the majority of it is lots of pictures. And the beauty behind pictures is a picture is worth, fill in the blank with me, 1,000 words. So you put a bunch of pictures up there, and that board is just talking to you in multiple layers. So I'll show you 4 or 5 different ways that you can do that. Now, I have friends say to me, I don't use those vision boards. They don't work. And know what I say back to them? You're right. They don't work unless you use them right. So if you want to turn the light switch on your vision board, you've got to use it in a way that you've never done before. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Before we even start putting together a vision board, though, I need you to go back and do some deep thought about what you want to place on it. Before we can hunt for pictures and visuals, you got to know what you're hunting for. And you may run across some things while you're hunting that you didn't even know that you're going to add. But progression is about seeing a gap between where we are and someplace that we want to be. And the awareness and that bridge is really what your vision board is. Those are the things that I want. Now, remember, these can be things you want to accomplish. This can be things you want to become. These are places you want to go, maybe things you want to earn. There are so many different things and categories that you can look at. So do you want me to kind of jog your mind at some of the things that you can kind of pre-plan and think and journal out so that you can come up with some concrete goals if you haven't had a chance? Here's a couple of them that I utilize in the class that I taught. One of them is go back to last year and think about what are some things, big or small, that sparked joy in you last year? What do you want to continue? What are you most grateful for this year? Maybe what things do you want to show gratitude? What did I learn that expanded me? And how do you want to expand yourself this year? What did I discover about myself? And what new discoveries do I want to make? What are some things I want to let go of this year so I can make space for other things? What's a virtue I want to have this year? What do I want to work on? How can I be a contributor, whether it's in my community, whether it's my family, whether it's my business? In what way can I contribute? Now, those are just kind of some teasers, but also there are categories that I utilize. Are you familiar with feng shui? Feng shui is a way of that energy flows and the type of energy that flows within your home. So if you look at the feng shui Bagua map, you'll see that it's divided into 9 different areas. And these actually coordinate to different places in your home. If you've never been familiar with feng shui, if you start at the very bottom, you see the black square, that would actually be the place at your front door. And although I'm not going to go into a lot of feng shui right now, I want you to understand that those different quadrants coordinate to different places in your home. So for example, the pink in the upper right, which is a relationship area, is the back right of your home. To the far left is your wealth and prosperity. Now, you have to think about what's in those rooms, and then you organize to create good energy for those certain things. So look at this. Right on your front door is career. To your right is traveling or helpful people. To the left is knowledge or self-cultivation. The heart of your home is health. To the right of that is creativity in children. And to the left of that is family. If you go straight back from a front door, it's the fame and the reputation. And to the right is relationships. And to that far left again is wealth. Now, what does that have to do with a vision board? Well, when I started teaching women how to do a vision board, to me, that's an amazing way to be able to organize what you want on your vision board. So let's see if you can see this. So I have the 9 different quadrants here and labeled what it is. So I can go back in there and say, okay, for my family, I want to be able to, this is my goal in this. This is on my vision board for my family. Maybe it's a closer relationship. Maybe it's travel with them. Maybe it's family reunions. Maybe it's getting educated together. Health and fitness in here. What What's at the heart of my family? What do I need to do? Maybe it's better nutrition. Maybe it's taking classes, creativity and fun, travel, relationships, your reputation. All these 9 areas are an amazing place to look at and go, what can I set as a goal and a dream in this area? So I love this. I'll show you one of my past vision boards that was feng shuied. And this is kind of what it is. And I've got words that describe it. I've got, and I've got a lot of this been pulled off because it's on my new vision board. But I have things that have come to pass, and I pulled those off also. But it's words and visuals and descriptions. And yes, I even have a penny that's significant to me. So that is an amazing way to do a vision board, is to use the Bagua map. It's the feng shui map as an area of categorizing. When I started doing teen retreats, that was an easy way for us to do that. Now I have simplified it a little bit more, and I want to show you the simplification that I came up with. I chose just 4 areas for youth to be able to start doing their envision boards. And for me, I picked out relationships, health, creativity, and intellectual. These are vision boards that were done and now are falling apart a little bit. But you can see that it's easy to categorize in those areas. You pick 4 areas. So if you're teaching this to children, you want to make it a little more simple than having 9 different. Now, if you're like me, you're like, okay, there are 9 different areas in my home, in my life, in whatever. Absolutely. I want to set at least one goal, one vision in that area. That's kind of some of the ways that you can treat an envision board. This is what I love to do right now. This is my vision board right now. Yes, indeed. If you're part of the Level Up program, this is what you get to do. But what I love is I have put everything on Post-it notes. Hello, the little pictures, etc. So they can be moved around if need be. And why would they need to be moved around? When we do a vision board, obviously we are going to pick things that can be accomplished within a year, or maybe they're part of a plan of, it's going to take me 3 years to develop this skill. But the first phase is by the end of the year, I want to arrive at this. So we break down that goal, right? But if everything takes a year to 5 years or whatever, it's going to be disheartening, right? So we got to have those fun little things that we can do in a short amount of time. And when I talked about the sparkle, we need to have some things that maybe something we want to buy, or a concert we want to go to, or something like that, that we have this incentive to be able to find a way to make that happen. And then it comes off of our vision board. Or if you're the collage type of person, whether you've done it digitally or if you've done it by hand, then maybe you put a star on the ones that have already come true. Why? Okay, I'm going to get into the science now of this. You would put a star on that because you want to give evidence to your brain that that thing has come true. Another way I do it, I put a page protector on the back of the vision board. That way, when I take it off, I put it in there so I can see the evidence, like, oh my gosh, things are moving. And it's funny, sometimes I'll move things around on my board to see, does positioning have something to do with it? Now, any of you that understand feng shui would understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes just moving it to another position is just giving your brain another glance, like it's not status quo. Have you ever had something in your house and you walk by it every day and you don't even notice it's there? Now, if you didn't raise your hand or say absolutely, then you don't live on this planet, because we all do it. Things that are commonplace, that are there and haven't moved, that are static, become invisible to us. We don't even recognize that we're passing by those certain things because it's normal, it's typical, it's something we see all the time. But if we can move those around, how cool is that? That gives your brain, oh, well, it's usually over here. Oh, then it makes it pay attention. There is science behind this thing, trust me. And we haven't even gotten into the juicy part of it. But I want to go back to making vision boards. So where do you get all these pictures and where do you find all these things? Once you already know what you want to put on it, then you could start by going through magazines. Start collecting these things, especially if you do youth groups, etc. Any catalog that comes to your home, grab all those catalogs and put them in a box. And at some point, do a fun little vision board party. It's amazing to get that synergy of everybody. Get out the glue sticks, get out the markers, get out the paper. Now you can also go online and you can screen copy some of the pictures and you can place them on a sheet of paper and print them out. Now, for those of you that don't know how to maximize a sheet of an 8.5 by 10 and to make them small, it depends on how big your board is, because it might download this big, but you want to shrink it down to here. Then you obviously right click, go to wrap text. So you select wrap text and it'll say, do you want it to be on top of words, to the side of words? And you just push tight, select tight. Okay, what that does is that liberates that image and you can now move it anywhere you want on the page. So as you start collecting and putting into a Word doc or a Pages doc, all these different pictures, of course, on the corner, there'll be little arrows and you can shrink it down in, but then you can like move tons of them together. So you're going to get tons of pictures on one 8.5 and 11, especially if you have to take it to a printer place. You can cram a lot on one page. And then you can place those on as you want. Now, I did say there are some sparkle things that you want to have in there, just short-term things that you want to be able to give your brain evidence, like they'll come easy, etc. Let me give you an example of my sparkle thing. I walk dogs and I used to feed, until recently, a horse morning and night, and kind of some of the horse herd. Well, I live in muck boots because the weather is either rainy or it's snowy or it's dirty or it's has manure. And so I wore out my muck boots. Absolutely loved them. The company stopped producing that style. What? Do you ever get to that point where you have something you absolutely love and then they stop making it? Well, I couldn't find them anywhere. So I was like, oh man, I need that same one. They're soft, they're cushy, they're like having slippers on and they're cool looking. So on my vision board, I put muck boots, right? And of course, I always write on there how I would feel if I owned them, right? I also put on there these or better. But I thought, what could be better than the ones I had? I absolutely loved them. Well, they showed up. They're better. Anybody who knows me knows that the cheetah leopard print is my signature. And not only were they half the price of the ones that I had purchased before, they were softer and they're leopard. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? So it's no longer on my board. It is now been placed in my got it file. So when those things happen, have a celebration. Here's another piece of science. When we celebrate when something happens, then our brain learns that, oh, that's a good thing. That behavior is a good thing. That performance or whatever it is, that occurrence is a good thing. So we teach our brain in the neural system what is good and what is bad. Now, let me give you another example. One of the things I had to do was back up a trailer of hay, and it was maybe 5 or 6 bales high, and this whole trailer was behind my SUV, and it was huge, and I couldn't really see, and I had to back it up into my garage. Because it was starting to rain. Well, I thought, oh my gosh, this definitely has a skill to it, and I had tried many times, other times, and I had moderate success, but it was starting to rain, and I didn't want to ruin the hay. So I was like, I'm going to nail this thing. And I backed up, and it was an arched garage door that I had to go under. So I had to be pretty precise, and it had to be right in the middle. backed it up, nailed it the first time I jumped out. And I did a dance in the rain. I was so excited. I told my sons are like, Mom, that's no big deal. I go, no, but you don't understand. For me, it was huge. It was a party in the driveway because I had nailed it. Now, if every time we get something off our vision board and we have a celebration, we are teaching our brain that, hey, it's a good thing to be able to get those things, right? Well, here's another way you can do your vision board. Now, there are those collages. I don't have one here right now because I stopped doing just a collage, but basically it's a collage like this, but I have this categorized specifically. But you can just put them randomly the way that you want. I like a little bit of order to mine, but here's a way that my friend made order to hers. She decided to make a little scrap book. So every single one of her pages has kind of a theme of what her vision or dreams are for the year, kind of thematic as she flips through. It has those aspirations, those things that mean a lot to her, those things that she is, those things that she's progressing in. And at the very end, you'll see a picture of a tree that she co-painted with a friend. And that was a dream come true for her. So you can even make little booklets. And wouldn't that be fun with your family to make that? Guys, this is a family activity. This is a group activity. This is an individual activity. But unless we put something in front of us, nothing's going to happen. And so now lean in, because you're now going to get the science. You're now going to get the full tank of gas on how you're going to make these things work. Because otherwise, you might as well do those vision board killers. Yeah, the ones that make them totally ineffective. Let's first talk about what doesn't work and why they don't work. It doesn't work if you make one of these and you put it in the closet. It doesn't work if you can't see it. Doesn't work if you don't spend some mental time with it, looking and dissecting each one of those areas. It doesn't work if you don't believe in it. It doesn't work if you let other people convince you that it doesn't work. And it doesn't work if you don't put some emotion in it. Okay, here's the science behind it. It's no secret, it's just science. We have in our brain what is called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is a powerful piece of our brain. And if you listen to many of my shows, I talk about it frequently. It's that piece of your brain that recognizes things. So for example, when I was in high school, I saw a lime green Pacer car. I think it was made by GMC. And I fell in love with it. Every time I'd see a lime green GMC Pacer, I would head flip. It's like, I want that car one day. Good thing I didn't get it because they're no longer on the road today. But bottom line was, it was my dream car. And I couldn't believe how many were out there. It's like all of a sudden the city floodgates had been open and all of these lime green cars were coming in. And I said to a friend, holy cow, I can't believe how many lime green cars are now, the GMC Pacer. Have you seen that car? And they're like, are you just now seeing them? And I went, yeah, there's tons of them now. They must have just opened up a floodgate and everybody started buying them and they're here. They've been here for a while. You know that, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Well, how come I started seeing these? It's because I told my brain that was important to me. I liked that car. I was attracted to it. So now every time I saw it, my brain was on a radar scan of the GMC lime green Pacer and where it was. And I saw it. Every time there was one, I saw it. Okay, same with rattlesnakes growing up. Deathly afraid of rattlesnakes. So what did I see everywhere I went? I live in a desert area and up in the mountains, there are rattlesnakes. Nobody else would see them, but guess what I saw? Rattlesnakes. Because my brain knew that I was deathly afraid of them and I didn't want to run into them and I wanted to avoid them. So what did it do? It helped me find them. Holy cow, how powerful is that? So think about those things that you have had an interest in, and all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere and you notice them. That's the reticular activating system. Now, if you're not using the reticular activating system on your vision board, then it's like you're pouring pop in your gas tank. Is that smart? No. So what you have to do is let the brain know that that's important to you. And you have to step into as if you already had it, as if you already were, as if you already were living that dream. So let's use an example. There's a ski parka that you really, really want. So you look at the picture of that parka, and then you envision all the different pockets, and you envision what it would smell like, what it would feel like, what it would look like, how functional it would be, where you would wear it, where you'd be going to wear it, what things people would say about it, how you would feel about it. And when you can step into that feeling, and in case you don't know, a big secret about the brain is it can't really tell the difference between real and fake if you are into a heightened state of emotion. So if I'm really excited about when I close my eyes and think about this ski parka, my body is going to feel like, oh my gosh, we own a ski parka. The juice. That's the key and the ignition. If you want things to come about, then you envision them and you go into that state of emotion as if they'd already happened. Now, I know some of you are going to say, okay, that's not going to bring you anything. And that's the issue I have with vision boards. No. I'm not saying just because you sit somewhere and meditate, things are actually going to show up on your doorstep. That's the part of engaging the brain. When we engage our reticular activating system, then that's when things start showing up as far as opportunities, people who know someone who knows something, a class that has to do with learning that, finding a group of people who have a common interest. All of a sudden, a part-time job opens up and it's extra money that you can put towards whatever. Nothing happens until you take action. You got to dream it. You got to envision it. You got to feel it. And then when those hits that come, because now you've told the brain that's important, it's going to be looking out there for opportunities. And you've got to be making those too. But when an opportunity or an idea comes up, then you act on it. You got to act. It is about movement and action to make this work. But to really make it work, your brain has to think that it's really important to you. One of the worst things you can do through a vision board is look at it, go, yep, okay. Yeah, I looked at it. Well, your brain is thinking, well, it's not worth a lot of your time. So it may not even bring to your observation some things. Here's an example. I had something on my vision board that had to do health-wise that I wanted to learn. And I looked up YouTube videos and gotten kind of involved that way, but I thought, man, it sure be nice to have hands-on. And I was in the grocery store, kind of a holistic grocery store, and I was walking out. It's almost like I had like this inspiration to look on their bulletin board. And I walked over there, and there was a lady teaching classes of the exact thing that I needed to learn. And I was able to take her number, and then all of a sudden, my vision board is starting to happen. You see, nobody came and knocked on my door to teach me. But once I had told my brain, this is really important to me, I really want to learn this or be this or do this or have this or become this, and those hits started coming. And when I paid attention, I started going down the directions that helped me. If you could see the book I have of the things that have come off my vision board, it's all the way from the sparkle things to the huge things that I had as far as a trip and a place I wanted to be when there was an historical event that was going to happen. Vision boards are a visual tool, but like any tool, you have to know how to use them. And science is a way to make these work. Meeting the brain where it is, utilizing the reticular activating system, utilizing repetition and emotion, utilizing making it important to the brain. Those are the ways that we bring our dreams, we bring our goals, we bring our sparkle into view. And then when we step into action and do the work and follow up on leads, that's when changes happen. And that's when this year goes around and at the very end you go, wow, I got a lot off my vision board. Now, what do you do if you get one and you want to take it off your board? Or some of you may do digital boards. And so maybe you can remove that and put a new goal up. This is about progress. This isn't about, okay, if I get it all done for the year, that's it. That's all I have to do. No. Progress is about when you accomplish one thing, another one comes in. Is that not exciting? That's how vision boards work. And that's what can happen for all of us when we do the work, have fun making it. And remember, we're conscious creators. We create what we do or don't want in our life. It just takes a little bit of planning, getting emotionally involved with what we've planned, and stepping forward. Is this not exciting? Now, you're not going to want to miss next week, because next week, we're going to take this up a notch. And really, to take advantage of next week, if you've done a vision board, you've got half the journey done in next week's amazing level up on a vision board. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.